Hello. Look at our fancy rabbit friend.
Oh, that's so great. That's like the lucky rabbit's tail. Yeah, so good luck. Are we on?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Hey, hi. I'm so happy to be here, and I swear there is so much transformation that is happening. And I feel like this is like a giant birth canal for so many people. Not only those of us who organized it and supported it, the city, but and those who participated and painted and helped out and carried paint buckets and washed brushes and all of the different things that it takes. Set up and clean up. But I see in the space, and I'm hearing from other people too, about how there is this magic that happens when you walk into the space that's full of color and form. And there's big spaces and little spaces and stepping
Speaking of
stones.
which, you want to walk?
Yeah.
Let's walk into this space and feel the magic. I can carry it if you want.
Okay. Here on my purse.
I'll just carry it.
Oh, then I got my water and stuff.
Okay. No problem.
So, for the people that come here, the kids are having such a good time, and then grown-ups are turning into the kid part of themselves, and then people are finding meaning in what they see and a sense of freedom. Like a freedom to express in color and form. Like this piece was a total co-creation where we didn't know what we were going to do. Mary and Evergreen made the circles around the corners, and then that was Evergreen's piece. She knew pretty much what she wanted in it, and then put the elements together depending on who she had with her. She had some good people. And here, I mean, we must have had, I swear, like 20 people working on this one. And that's so awesome because people could come in and do a little piece or do a section and go away, but they own a piece of it.
Yeah, and it's unified, but I see something new every time. Like I'm looking at the little yellow like circles in the middle, and I see these like cool eyeballs happening. Right. And I'm like, each circle, I mean, it's all unified and they're all friends and vibing off of each other, but they each express something.
So the green and black triangles, which really like land the kind of crazy curviness and weirdness of this. Joan England, our oldest painter, came and painted 2 days, and she really was dedicated to completing this section. And a few other people came and helped, little kids here and there. And so I brought her the paint, and I brought her the wrong color. But we have this one, like just off green, which is my favorite color. It's like piercing it.
And it takes dedication because kneeling down on like a hard surface and the concrete with the sun and everything and painting, it's not just.
Well, we have her. No, we do this too. We had my canopies, so we had her on a canopy. I gave her my camp chair.
You had a hammock and she was like swinging like Da Vinci.
We were feeding her grapes and fanning her off. Not quite. It was so beautiful to have in the space, and one of my teammates and I, Evergreen, were having a difficult moment around the paint table, and we were having a little spat, and Joan was waiting for me to talk to her. So I went over to her and I said, okay, she goes, no, this is what's happening right here. I'm just praying. I don't need you. I'm just praying for you. And I thought, thank you. And you know what? Things were resolved smoothly and quickly after that beautiful emotional support.
Yeah, you're taking care of other people's spirit, and then in kind, they take care of yours.
Yeah. So
they just volunteer to.
At my age, you don't have that many elders left, and so it's so beautiful to have like an auntie when I'm in the space supporting me. So that's what this is all about. It's all the ages. And we have these beautiful, so this is like the sprig. So we have if you come over here, so we have our year. You have to kind of see it from this way. We have our year here, and then the sprig here. right? On the right, those leaves that are stacked together on the right and on the left with this little curve here and this little curve here. That's Mary Kennedy's work. And then these little blobs, and then the bees, another unifying
The
factor.
bees like flowing through. There's just like rivers and tendrils.
And so all of this connects, like in a sense, like the natural world does, into these other realities, the other perspectives. So here we have these connecting, almost like bubbles.
Well, it's like a natural, colorful mind map. You know how they're.
Yeah, it's like a mind map, like bubbles, like fungi. Like I saw a picture of this morning of the makeup of our cells on the molecular, or our body on the molecular level, and it's like this, almost together. So it's interesting. Mother and daughter did the planets around the sun. I just love that they
Sweet.
with this little tendril.
Woo! You can slide on over to the next universe.
To the end of the arcade, right on the corner where we usually paint the mandala. This is one of the places right on the corner there.
Aww.
So in a sense, our place came back here, just like down the block.
Like a family portrait of yesteryear.
Amazing psychedelic piece. And this whole section was filled with little kids and their mothers who finished them. And hey Akiva, I'm just doing a video. Do it, love it. So anyway,
That was sarcastic.
Yeah, don't love it.
No, I do love it, but I think it's finished whenever she says it's finished.
We'll see. Oh, hi, I roll.
I'm just gonna go. Like let it rise and it'll fall to the
The
ground.
cosmic eye, it's about to shed a salty tear.
So this, I just love this piece. It's just like, just falling into that vision. And so yeah, this was such a mess when the kids were painting. I really was worked about it. It was towards the end of the event, the last day. And
I think the facial expression kind of says it all.
I just love how
I'm coming over the horizon.
I love how it came out. I just asked the mothers, I said, just please encircle it and have it connect and make some kind of sense. And I had to walk away and trust. And it's so interesting and organic.
It's super sweet. Oh, look at the turtle.
I would love to hear the story from the mamas and the kids on these, to tell you the truth.
There's a turtle in the sky.
That turtle.
Ooh, yeah, and I see a pink-haired princess.
Yeah,
All about the
and-
pink-haired princesses.
And
Dude, look at the little, like, spray of paint.
yeah.
Projectile playing with physics.
Love these.
And the handprint.
Yeah.
Little handprint.
These are something. I love them. I think that looks like a mama swirl done with great confidence.
Yeah. And then there's Elena's here.
Oh, so it's so interesting because we have the tightest one next to the loosest ones. So in the polarities,
So it's like feeding it with inspiration.
when I went around towards the end of the last day, and I just with my stick I danced to these curves, to connecting curves, and then I just plugged people in, and I said, just paint them however you want to.
You want to come around here?
So Elena's the Day of the Dead, and she did a whole video and explanation of it. It's got Quetzalcoatl on the outside, and it's got I shouldn't really say too much about it. Like the one thing I love, like the skulls represent the ancestors, and the little curves with the flower petals on coming out of their mouth are the palabra florida. That's the poetic words, the flowered speech, which is about like poetry or video.
I love it.
Storytelling.
And they're definitely talking.
Did you want to ask me a question? No, you're just trying to check me out. Okay.
She's dancing with the flow.
So I love, this is, I think a few different people Oh, another connector that's just so very weird. Rainbow view. This pink and blue connector reminds me of Dr. Seuss.
Or some really good striped socks.
This is the mother and daughter who told me the story of having food poisoning 3 times. So I always think this is
They had it 3 times, or they told the story 3
They told me the
times?
story 3 times, so I always think that they were lovely.
Then it's a prophecy if it happens 3 times.
Well, it was so, they were lovely together, and this story of being sick kept, like I was weaving all this stuff together, and they kept like, oh yeah, so I just had food poisoning, and I'd be like, well, so what? Here's your paint here. You know?
Put it on the page. Put it on the page.
So, Terry, I think we went over this before. But Terry was here for 4 days. And she kept underpainting and overpainting. So her piece got moist. It's in a low spot. But you can see.
They're like rainbow bears, yeah.
Right? So
I still see them. They're spirit bears now.
Right, exactly.
It's spirit bear corner.
But because she underpainted, the bears are fading off faster. Otherwise, the form would still be showing better, from the outline.
It's like notes for future painters.
So, one thing that, Terry's piece, because Terry, in a sense, what she did is she brought her piece here and she held space. She brought her hearth. She brought, can we,
Yeah.
do you want me to sit on this side so you can have that in the background? Or do you want me to sit here?
Yeah. No, you can sit on that side. Hee. You're so smart.
Just now I want my water, which is over there.
Oh, shoot. I'll send you water.
That squirrel just jumped from that branch to look, there it is. Even the squirrels like our mandala.
Yeah, everybody's got to dance around the mandala.
Yeah. So in a sense, Terry brought her hearth. She had her own brushes and her own little setup, and she's around my age, a little older. She has some health issues, so she's very careful about being socially distanced and everything. So she was able to set up her own space and be in her own space while being with everybody else, and that was really what this is about and why we brought it to the park, so that we could still do it, even with these kinds of rules, our framework. I'm like, what's the word I want in there?
Yeah, just the landscape
precautions.
of safety, but in this nice spread out, spread out over time. It was spread out in space. You were able to it just formed differently. It was like, it wasn't just that concentrated overnight mad rush. It was like this, just kind of like the circles are spreading out.
Well, I have something to say about that, because really, yes, what you're saying, yes. And also, there's this aspect where this is something I've been looking at in different parts of my life, because, I carry a fireplace, what we call, a fireplace. And basically what that is, it's kind of a way of doing things and a way of looking at things. And, we honor the elements. And so we start really simply honoring the elements, and we allow what wants to arise from that place. Because when we're honoring and giving gratitude and sharing our honest and true feelings of the moment in a space together, what we're doing is we're opening up the field. So there's more possibility that can come in there. Because honoring is loving. It's putting attention in a, in a positive, I don't even want to use that word, but in a life promoting and in a relational way.
That's what I was thinking. It sounds like a chemistry, just like how fire is an alchemical reaction. It's like a chemistry very rooted in the moment, like right here, right now, us.
Right
like
here, right now.
Bringing.
Right here, right now. Exactly, Vera. Maybe we should be having both of us on here if we're having a conversation. Seriously. Because, it's a little disconcerting for me when you're talking and I'm like here.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Hi.
Better. Okay, so we can have a conversation. So with the fireplace, there's my study over 28 years, because I came to the fireplace 2 weeks after painting the center of the first mandala that we did, which was an homage to the Shumash. And I have a story to tell about the painting of that, but I don't want to digress from this thought too much. So what I've come to study, I've been with different groups, different peoples, and different fireplaces, and there seems to be there's a lot between protocol and tradition that people use to explain certain things and why they do certain things. But what I see is that and this is how I think I learned to be an artist, is whatever it is that we're in and the ideas that we have, or the way that we express ourselves, is always to look at what can be deconstructed from that. What are the essential and basic forms of the thing? And so this is the same basic form and shape as far as what the Haudenosaunee call the original instructions of the mandala that we do over there in the middle of town, right, in the road. So here we do it in the park. It has it gets to live longer. It gets to reveal itself to more people.
An even bigger embrace. Like, I just think like circle embrace. Like,
it's sort of like moving from a tiny house to a house with 4 or 5 bedrooms. And you can invite your friends to come and have a party and play and stay and eat together. And over there, you're like around the picnic table in the park. And you can only be there for a certain amount of time. So in a sense,
it's an event. You know, it's beautiful, and you save it. There was also that even more ephemeral quality, which was great. But this is like, it evolved and it spread out like little multiple universes, and then more and more people are allowed to interact with it, and not in a one-day Ojai Day event way, but like meandering through it and like playing music and playing.
Well, they do all that at Ojai Day. So I just want to say they do all the same things they do here, they do at Ojai Day. So that's not different. So, it's like we so want to compare it, and I don't even want to compare it, I really just want to talk about the essence of what it is. Because like for myself, because most people around here have experienced it for 2, 3, 5, 10, maybe 15 years, and this is year 28 for me. So I don't want to make myself anybody special because it's year 28, but like there's something about like that thing, she persists. And that's something I'm
yeah. We need that. You're swimming up the waterfall, not just the river, by the way. The steelhead are going up the waterfall. That's what I want to know. That's your piece, and you're like, complete vertical. Get some speed going, because we're not just like going up a little hill, we're going vertical.
Come on, give me the double. Completely vertical. Well, my mom, who passed late this summer, her favorite toast was "up yours," and I always sounded so vulgar. And after she passed, and I was doing a toast with a friend, and I was like, bling! It's like the lights went on, and that whole like blessing of ascension, right? Yeah. Because I feel that she graduated to pure love, and that's what we get to do together for each other, for ourselves, and for each other here, is this shape and form and just the act of creation on the ground, where you're on the ground and it's humbling. We are all humbled together here. Is an act of unconditional love that goes beyond any ideas that we have about anything that we know, or how we identify ourselves, or how we identify others. We leave all of that behind when we're working with those colors. When you just,
it's like, it's not who you appear to others. It's not about where you are in society or status or where we're at. It's like we're all like in it together and just making something, and it just becomes about like, oh, look at what you're making, look what I'm making. It's like this like sharing, experience. And it's like, I love, like any kind of gathering where you make something, it takes everybody out of the who I need to present myself as, and it's just like growing something.
So here you are So here we are in the round. So some of our borders are invisible, but there's a big circle here that we're not seeing, and everything that's within that circle is connected to each other with a central focus. And here we have the fountain. We have flowing water with the sound of the falling water that is behind everything. And so we have an elemental center that now, and that's what I tuned in when I was in the space with Ray the week before, and he was telling me he wanted to do his beaver game here, and I was like, right on, anything you want to do, Ray. And so he was going to do it here to be by the kids' playground, but he wanted a bigger space, and he did it in the right space, which is over at the east end of the
big game board. Like, you enter the park and then it's like, play this big, it's just imaginary landscape. It just says, hey, welcome to the proactive, positive, imaginary landscape where we're going to make our own world better.
Where we're making our own world, period, right? And then we get to, we don't even have to invite people in. They are naturally coming in. I think it was Friday. Was it Friday? Anyway, I came on Friday. You had the video of those girls from Alaska who were driving through town and saw the art as they were driving by, stopped and came down the waterfall and started dancing on the waterfall and laying on the ground and wiggling over the
rolling
salmon
around
that I had painted and brought in. And I was like, and I was sitting right at the end with the little altar for my mom, and I was watching these personified salmon come to life, like it brought these women, and then they danced around the space, and oh my gosh, it was
literally
so beautiful.
dancing with it. It was like spontaneous, ecstatic dance, like interactive with the art,
And there's been so much joy and moments of ecstasy here for people. And there's something about the largeness of it, and walking your body through the largeness of the shapes and the forms and the immense variety of expression.
Like putting your spirit in, and it's like your unique contribution, but it's like all woven into this like fun, accessible, like let's all swim in this beautiful river of spirit.
Yeah. It's like, so in that sense, so it's a warm and, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a place we all want to come to that's an attractive and warm and feels safe gathering place. And so in that sense, it's the hearth. And so somebody, was it you or somebody said, 28 years, like the 28-day moon cycle?
Yeah.
Was that you? That was so good. Thank you, Vera. Because, as a woman, I reflected that, wow, I've done one cycle with 1 year for each day. There's something to that. There's really something to that. And so, I just claim myself inside the space of having persisted to this point and continued. And, there's a piece of sharing it and legacy piece here where I want to bring it out into other communities. I did bring it out into one community last year, and we did a series of 4, one for each season, which connected us with the elements and the year cycle. It was beautiful. And then with Ray's piece about the beaver and educating about the beaver, there's so much here that I understand. Our original concept was to honor the original people of the land. So right there, we got right into what is really important here: the earth, the air, the fire, the water, each other, sharing in the space together.
Environmental interconnectivity. And also I was touched, you mentioned the new year.
Social and cultural.
Social, cultural, color, expressive, diversity, unity, like your experience of your surroundings and like pouring your love into it and getting the love out of it and just dancing in that. But one thing that really comes to mind is it means more to me in this year. Like, I really understand the timing of it because we're on the brink of winter. We're going through all these like metamorphosis and change, and we see society changing. So, I've heard like that solstice celebration, like winter solstice, it's like you celebrate that unity and you give yourself like some nutrition to get through like the dark spots. And I think that they're not dark and ominous, but they are mysterious in that sense. We don't know what's going to come of our society. It's changing very quickly. So to celebrate like the joyfulness of it, like, and the expression, like whatever you want to express, dark or light, whatever, but like that embracing that expression and celebrating it. And that gives you something where you're like, yeah, I'm grounded in my community. We're different. We're all changing. We don't know what's going to happen next, but we're going to stay together. We're going to keep our colors.
So life is always insecure, and with the changes that are happening now, the insecurity, the true insecurity is revealed. And where COVID makes all of us be aware of death as our ally, and that's a beautiful thing. And we humans thrive through challenges. So what I know through my practices over the last 28 years, almost 30 years now, is that as we pay attention to and honor like the different seasons and the different times of the year, then that connects us with the natural cycles. And when we're connected with the natural cycles, all of the societal pieces have their place. They're not the sole way in which we identify ourselves and our lives. Because no matter what the social milieu has been for human beings from time immemorial till now, that's always what we've had, no matter what. And that's the thing that keeps coming through. And I think this brings forth a lot of, at this time, what you're talking about, this insecurity, is really opening up ancestral and indigenous wisdom, which is really earth-based wisdom. So this literally gets us down to earth. So still I'm not talking a lot about the hearth. So I'm going to take a little pedal backwards here.
One thing I wanted to say, like within the insecurity, there's possibility. Like it's like discovering new things, and I forgot what else I was going to say, so going with the hearth.
Thank you. Well, okay, so we can speak to that a bit. Okay, go ahead.
I just remember because you were talking about nature, and it's just one thing that, because I grew up like in Los Angeles, I grew up like in a concrete jungle with lots of diverse people, but I only got connected to nature after moving to Ojai and becoming a wildland firefighter. But like really understanding nature, one thing I'm struck by, and it's so simple, is that there's no garbage in nature. There's no, useless refuse. Like that just does not exist really in the natural world. It's like, anything that's fallen, it gets deconstructed, like you say, and ground down, and then it goes into this like quiet, dark space, and then the nutrients are used and transformed. And that's just one thing, because in our minds, we're like...
Can I just breathe that in for just a second? Let's just breathe that in, because that's really good. Wow. Yeah.
And if you can look at yourself like that too, like that insecurity is not garbage. That thought, that will, that's something that's like, trying to break through the surface, and that is valid too, like in all your...
Okay, so how I like to put this, because I have lots of memories of walking through stone corridors, and so it's like you're going through the stone corridor, and it's dark, and you don't know where you are, you don't know where you're going, are you ever going to come out to the light again, and blah blah blah. And you might just be hitting a curve, and you come around that curve, and you gotta like slow down and be inside your inside of your real feelings, and come around and see that pinpoint of light that grows and grows and grows as you move towards it. And that's really a lot about self-awareness, consciousness, growing consciousness, which is that, through our practices, we don't get to not feel all the feelings. We actually, it's important to feel all of them. But courage. Yeah. And to make choices, and to realize we're making choices and we're not victims despite all seeming evidence to the contrary. Because that's part, anyway, I don't want to get too far into that.
The heart.
So the hearth, the heart, the fireplace, the where you put the center of what it is that you love, that you're doing, that you're honoring. And here in the park, we get to have the water as as our hearth. I think of the hearth like a stone fireplace in an old like cob cottage back in like 1200 or 1000 in the woods.
The herbs, and you're cooking something up.
Yeah,
and people are smelling it and like wanting to know what's going on. Can I help with that?
And you've just been outside collecting what you need and being out there and listening to the voice of all of that beautiful life that's just in motion all around you. So in a sense, that's the thing, coming to the fireplace, knowing you're going to have succor, that you're going to be welcome, that you're going to receive something that's beneficial,
that you're welcome,
that you can rest, a place that you can rest and allow the outside world to just drop away and come into this place of beauty and immense presence.
And share your stories and let them intermingle.
And play. So 28 years later, I have understood that once a year here, we have been bringing out our fireplace, our hearth, our altar. And this is also the time of the year when we are just about at that cross quarter between equinox and solstice. So we are just in like a week, we are on that steep slide down into solstice, the darkest time of year now. And so the veils are thin between the worlds. And so there's like this whole spooky thing about that, but really I feel like what it's about is that somehow our bodies are open up to other kinds of feelings and experiences as the light is going away. And so those, like that DNA, the way the
roots,
body
like somehow we're going into the ground, so we're like exploring our roots, and our roots are feeding us back.
It's that DNA. I'm lost. I had to go on that. When I'm there, I got to just get it out, like when you told me you needed to get it out. So okay, let me go back there, because this is a piece I've come to understand, which you probably know about, but it's so what we understand about the DNA, right? It's that double helix. And so it goes around like that, and then what connects those two, and so there's we sense the male side and the female side, the red and the blue side, and they are like following each other, paralleling each other, but not touching. And so it's the spirit path, which is where the genes connect back and forth in between those two, in between the red and the blue, that spirit path right there, which the connections are made through, at the moment when that's being made, what the waters of our body are holding. So whatever kind of emotional, chemical imprint is there through a feeling that we're having or have had, such as a joyful experience or a trauma, it informs how those two sides are connecting all the way down like that. And so, and there's a dance to it, right? There's music to it.
Yeah, like braiding.
Yeah.
Like weaving it all, right?
Yeah. So, it's so, for me, that's that fractal piece, right? So it's so exciting to, like we were talking about, debouche, right?
I'm debouching all the time.
So, so taking out the inessential elements to look at what the basic elemental forms are in there, and then just seeing how things build from each other and connect from each other. And so again, I saw this picture of like a close-up of the cellular structure of our body, and I mean really, if you took all the artwork and smooshed it together, it's what it looks like. It's so trippy. So the hearth, the altar, so we could say it's a community art piece. We could say it's a hearth. We can say it's an altar. We can say it's a portal. We can say it's a birth canal. And certainly I think for the us reorganizers, for us, it's definitely a birth process because it's a lot of work.
It's a marathon.
It's a marathon, and you know, I really want to build the team better. And if we would be doing it in the park again, I would want to reach out and really have a, you know, first of all, have a good organizer to come help us with the organization because we're artists.
Yeah, and you're going on so many levels at once, and you do it great. But it's like, how many hundreds of levels can you like be,
well, after
at one time? It's like the kitchen with 100 pots going with the heat, and you're like, oh, that one's boiling. Oh, that one's getting too cold. Like,
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Let me talk to somebody. Let me direct somebody. Oh, that paint is drying. Somebody's stepping on it over
I
there.
would like to be able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I feel like I have some other pieces to bring that I can't quite fully do because this piece is taking too much of my energy.
So call for logistical support.
Thank you. Yes, a call for logistical support, please.
You're our worker bees. We want you. Come join the hive. There'll be honey.
Those who are in service most are the ones who lead later. And you know, I do consider myself the leader, and I am here first, and I'm the one who is cleaning up after everybody, and usually, well, always the last one to leave. So just wanted to share that with you. And if you have a heart of service that needs a place to land, that doesn't have to be a forever kind of commitment, but is an intense, it's like a piece of theater, intense and transformative commitment, I invite you to reach out to me.
She'll welcome you in. And you'll get a big colorful bucket. Grab the bucket. We've got work to do.
Well, you know, here's the thing is people say, I can't do this and I can't do that. I'm like, I don't care what you can't do. What can you do? What do you want to do? What does your heart want? You know, and some people just want to serve. I know. I always just wanted to serve. And, you know, to do something like this, I mean, I'm like the first year when my friends were saying like, hey, we're going to do this mandala in town it is going to be based on Chumash cave paintings. And I had one of the out of print then Campbell Grant Chumash cave painting books. And so they invited me, and so it was Tony William, Larry Height, Steve Bartolomeo, Carmen was involved, Jan Sanchez, rest her soul, and a bunch of other people that I'm sorry if I'm not naming your name right now. But you know who you were. Let me know if you want me to add your name here, please. And so I ended up painting the middle because people were doing like these amazing big pieces, and really was drawn to the middle, and I painted the middle for years, and now our water is the middle, which is right river, the water. I'm like, oh, look at this! There. Like I didn't plan that, but it just kind of I just followed it. So anyway, I painted the middle, and I mean we were doing this because it was the first Ojai Day in I think 25 years, and so honoring the Chumash this way from these ancient, powerful, mystical symbols. And the mandala, which is a beautiful symbol of wholeness and community. It was an amazing combination, and all of the spirits that came to life and were brought forth from that are.
It's like a circular calendar of the soul. It starts and ends.
And so these are some of the kids that painted over there. I love it. I love what the kids did. It's so beautiful. It's one of my favorite pieces in the whole thing. It got brought together, and it says so many different things. I love it. Yeah. I almost got a smile from her. That woman always gives me, like, I don't know what it is that I represent for her, but she has a really hard time relating to me.
Well, she's observing. Maybe she's just like processing.
Well, I
There's
mean,
smiles and grimaces and question
for
marks
years,
and exclamation marks. And
yeah, for years. I'm just saying, because I notice people. I know, I'm a real people person. I'm an introvert. I'm the extroverted introvert, and I do tend to remember people. Not as much in my older age, but I could meet somebody once and a year later remember their name.
Wow.
And I think it was, it served me well in business. That's for sure.
I remember personality. Yeah, but I think you do as well. Like, you sense the soul. And this is just like a thought, but something in me thinks, like, with Ojai One and, like this whole new kind of landscape that we're looking at things changing.
What is Ojai One?
Ojai One is the media network that I'm watching.
Oh,
You're the
sorry.
You're my first.
Sorry.
One. It's all right. It's like just still underground, like saying, I'm coming, I'm breaking the surface,
Ojai One.
I
want to get my water.
Okay, well, one thing that I was just thinking was like maybe having like cool workshops leading up to it. Like, we're talking about that awesome, like, mythic, you had a word for it, mythic enactment. Like doing costume and embodiment workshops that happen, regularly and kind of like leading up to like the grant, because I know you do your design workshops.
Oh, but... I love. Well, yeah. But basically, what that is doing studio work over the year and building towards the event, which I've done for myriads of other events. The Ojai Mardi Gras, we would start the studio. Like after Christmas, or even sometimes like November, October or November. So, and usually with my women, my team, like the design is so fast for us now.
Yeah.
So, we just meet like once a week for 6 weeks. This time I did most of the lead work. Evergreen did like some of it, and Mary was, supporting. She was running her business and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But I'm just thinking, like, oh my God, it'd be like where the wild things are. Like, everybody would have like their costume become painted. It's like their painting gear, and they've got their mythical thing, and they're like, I'm ready to create the myth when it happens.
Well, this is what Peggy Lucera and I were talking about the other day, or yesterday, I think it was. Is that like the piece that happened this year is Ray Sereno's Beaver Game, which is about the educational piece about restoring the watershed through bringing beavers back. So this other piece, which is theatrical, so he could have costumed beavers there and things like that. So each year, like, we pick a theme each year. So we can pick a theme, and we can do, like you said, the mythic enactment. We can design the piece, which designing the piece means the pieces we're going to do, and also the space for other people to have free expression within a border. Within
the hamster balls for those people that want to get squirrely.
Yeah. So there's a term I wanted to use there. That's a term that I use. I'll come back to it. So people can have their own their free expression within their own space, because that's part of the magic here. And then people have been saying to me, I need to get something to drink. Can I just go get it and come back?
We're going to go for a little walk now.
Okay.
Can't leave me. Okay. We're going to go for the water.
So do we want to go back around this way?
Sure.
Although the shade is over there.
Stay hydrated.
I have to say, I really look at that.
That's Ojai. The waters of eternal youth. We found the fountain of eternal youth here.
The rain.
Rain out.
The beavers.
Hi. I like your shirt. What's that? Sorry.
Thanks, dear.
No problem. Spacey. Sorry.
So, okay, So just to go backwards again, the piece about like bringing the altar out once a year, bringing the hearth out once a year is, that's the thing about magic and connectivity, like special events, little enlightenments, like that Zen saying, chop wood, carry water, enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. So in a sense, this is a little piece of enlightenment. And then by doing it annually, there's an aspect where there's a regularity to it, and we can keep coming back to this expression every year and bring ourselves to it, and the who we are as we have evolved, because we've had people who came as children coming as adults with their children. So that's the beautiful thing about when you keep doing something, it keeps attracting people and bringing the community together. And in the big part of this is the scale, is the very large size, and the impermanence also. Because people say, I really want that to stay. I wish the city would not wash it off, or that it would be permanent. And now I wished that in the past, but now I've come to understand how beautiful the impermanence is, because that was coming from the Hindu, from the Sanskrit. That's the original part of the work of it. And these women who got out of their houses and paint a mandala in the morning as part of their practice, and all day it's like walked over this, that, gone over, and then swept, and then the next day a new one. Because that's every day we say, like when it's a new day, that we have the opportunity to leave behind whatever we want to leave behind, and we can come to self-forgiveness and self-love, and start a new day and start anew and create something beautiful, and not be caught inside of something from before. So that's the part of the beauty of it going away, and then we get to do it again, and we get to do something better, we get to do something, a different kind of expression, because there's a multitude of expression. And community, true community and unconditional love, it embraces a variety of things. And then there's also that healthy boundaries, where you keep a community safe, and people who can't really be in the space in a good way are ushered off. So because
protect the circle.
or
just have boundaries with it.
But with boundaries, so the people who are here don't have to listen to somebody yelling and cursing for 2 hours, because they don't know how to hold themselves in a space for whatever their reasons are. So we think of care of the greater
take them, and they have to go bathe in the Matilaha Poppy Fountain and like wash away their bad juju, and then they can come back. And
I wish it was that easy. I really do, because I had my shop downtown for 20 years, and unfortunately the way our society is, there's a lot of illness that's not being really
uncared for souls that are just kind of looking for attention.
So here we get to care for each other, and we are multi-generational, and it doesn't matter how good or how bad an artist you are. It doesn't matter. Like in life, you don't be good at something that somebody else is. It's really about allowing yourself to reveal to yourself what it is that's really in your heart, what your desire is. And we have to ameliorate the difficulties that present themselves in our lives, but we only grow through challenge. And trauma is a given. It starts with birth and it goes to death, and it's woven inside there. So it's really just about like being in our colors, right? Just expressing our colors. And that's what I love about our ways, is that you just learn how to be in the space here. It's modeled and learned on a subconscious level how to be together,
making peace.
How to be together in the making of beauty, and all of the different kinds of expressions that happen when that's happening. And you know, you just keep working together, cleaning the paintbrushes, getting another color of paint, painting another thing, having a drink of water, seeing all of those buckets, 20 buckets of color just laid out like a feast in front of you, and you can just pick anyone you want.
All the ingredients.
And you can just go and make your mark in your space, and oh my goodness, like wow. Anything hardly better than that, you know? That's like just making love with your spirit to the universe. You know? And so this is our love letter.
Yeah.
To each other.
I kind of want to just like go up to the fountain again. And like, what do you think? Arc in time and the calendar of the soul. What will be next year's evolution? And now River's gonna jump in the fountain. It's a bee! It's a little bee making its way. There's rose petals in the water.
Oh yeah, that's from my altar. Oh, that water's cold. It feels so good.
Woo!
I feel like I'm in the water of the river here.
All right, blessed be Mandala 2020. You made it look good. You did amazing. We love you, Mandala 2020. You're holding so much love of and for the community. Ow! Woo!